Welcome to the world of Giant Gnome Productions. Find out more online at giantgnome.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Previously on Star Trek Outpost. As part of their investigation into the disappearance of a Section 31 agent, Lancer and Myth visited a murder scene.
There are signs of a struggle, but the room's been cleaned up. Sort of. You can still see where the blood pool was.
Your guy probably tried to welch on a bet and got what was coming to him.
I think we're done here, Lancer.
While the one person to walk away from that scene, Greetok, plots his next deed with Captain Bratara.
What is it that you think you can do for me?
I can reunite you with the one thing you value most in this life. The solar winds.
And what would you want in return for giving me the one thing I want most?
It doesn't matter. I could ask for anything in return for your ship, and you would agree to it.
While during a rare moment of downtime, Chief Knox opened up with Dr. Winston about what he sees in his future.
And let's face it, Chimera probably ain't got a lot of time left in Starfleet anyway.
You know as well as I do that most of the Oberths have already been decommissioned.
Yeah, well, ain't nobody taking Chimera away from me.
It sounds like you have a plan.
Ain't so much a plan as certainty.
And now, Star Trek Outpost, Episode 72, Wicked Harvest.
Blue, is that you?
Yeah, it's me, Lub. Buzz me in.
You only left the security center 15 minutes ago, Blue. That's not a very long time for you to complete a full walkthrough of the facility.
The docking bays are mostly empty, Lub. What's there to check? Buzz me in.
This is a cush job, Blue. I'm not going to lose it because you can't walk a couple of kilometers a night making rounds.
I made my rounds, Lub. What do you want me to say? There's no one here except for the ghost of the human Captain Turner.
The ghost of Repair Bay 10? Waiting for his great etc grandchild to come visit him? You can't possibly believe that legend.
I heard that he's waiting for Vask's father, actually, to complete repairs on his ship so he can go flying again.
It's a good thing he's a ghost then, because he has a long time to wait. Okay, fine. I suppose it's not going to hurt anything. Come on in. But you're going to have to do the whole circuit next
Do
time.
not move.
Hey, you're not supposed to be here.
Say another word and I'll kill you.
Wait, you said...
Shut up. Get over there.
We're cooperating, lady. There's no reason to get violent.
Who says I need a reason? You, Lub. From the fear I see in your eyes, you know who I am. Not if you do. Good. Your idiot partner here needs an education.
Hey, there's no need for name-calling. Just take what you want and leave.
Tell him, Lub. Tell Blue. Yes, you may now speak.
She's Captain Bratara, Blue.
She's Captain Bratara? Look, I didn't mean anything, Captain.
Shut up! You, Lub, put these restraints on your friend.
You're going to kill us, aren't you?
I am if you don't put those restraints on your friend.
Lub, no, don't do this. I don't want to die.
Shut up, Blue. I'm thinking.
I suppose you should try thinking at least once in your life, even if it does come at the end. Now put these on yourself.
But I'm cooperating.
Lub. Lub. What part of my reputation makes you think that I'm a patient woman?
Okay. But there's no reason to hurt anyone.
The hurt is reason enough, Lub.
What are we gonna do, Lub?
We're going to do what we're told to do, and sit quietly when we're not being told to do something.
But she's going to kill us!
As long as we're alive, we have hope. Maybe, if we don't give her a reason to kill us, she won't kill us.
But she's Captain Britara. You know what her reputation is. She can't be reasoned with. They say that she's...
I can hear you, you know. If you annoy me, or make me angry, or even just breathe the air that I'm breathing, I can kill you without even a thought.
Shutting up now.
Britara to Gritok. I'm in Vask's control center. No resistance worth noting.
We have eyes on the solar winds. We are not detecting anything but the most rudimentary of surveillance and protection in the area.
I'm sorry you won't be able to spill any blood, Gritok. But if it makes our task of finishing the repairs on the solar winds and blasting out of here easier, it's a good thing.
No, it is not good. It makes no tactical sense.
Vask is no tactician. He's barely a mechanic. Figure it out later after I've gotten my ship back.
This does not feel right.
Melian, what is your status?
The engineering crew is waiting for the go order, Captain. We should be able to get the impulse engines online within 40 minutes.
If you can't get your crew to bring impulse online in 30 minutes, Melian, I will reconsider making you an officer. And a reduction in your percentage of any future plunder will be the least of your worries if that happens.
Understood.
Disabling alarms now.
There's no need to be gentle about it, Gritok. A little damage to Vask's equipment will just reinforce to him that he should have had more respect for me.
I do not engage in petty vandalism, Captain.
Suit yourself. I should be able to take out my frustrations up here. Britara out. Now then, Lub. Blue. What shall we talk about while my crew retrieves my ship?
In the darkest reaches of the United Federation of Planets, an isolated station stands sentinel over a neglected frontier. Commissioned long ago with high hopes, its promise is now all but forgotten. A lonely outpost serving as the gateway to the vast expanse beyond, where discovery and adventure await.
Well, Verk, Turgle, it certainly appears that a lot of progress has been made in building out Deep Space 3's plaza area.
Yes, Uncle Vodic. There's room for restaurants, bars, shops.
And this prime space right here is ours.
And what do you intend to put there?
Well, we are considering a restaurant, a bar, a shop.
We're only limited by our imagination.
Too bad you two don't have any.
I'm sorry, Uncle. I didn't hear that. What did you say?
I said no bar.
No bar? Why don't you want us to have a bar? Are you afraid we'll drink the profits?
They can be very profitable.
but they also tend to draw the seedier elements that often attract unwanted attention.
But aren't we bringing in Tranya? We'll need somewhere to serve it.
I am bringing in the Tranya. You are not. As consul to the First Federation, you can't afford to be caught with any in your possession because it's illegal to export. No bar, and that's my final word.
Okay. No bar, Uncle.
But what about a high-class restaurant?
And how many high-class people are there out here, Turgle?
Well, there's me.
And me.
And, of course, you, Uncle Vadik.
Well, 1 out of 3 isn't bad. You do know that restaurants have a very high failure rate in their first year, don't you?
Yes?
Well, if nothing else, we do have all those trinkets that Gennaro left us.
You still have that junk?
Well, yeah.
In storage?
Well, yeah.
That you're paying for?
Well, no, if anyone's paying for it, I'm pretty sure it's Gennaro.
Thank the Negus for small favors.
We could open a shop to sell the wonders of Ferengi space to the United Federation tourists.
And how many tourists are there?
Well, not many yet. But Commander Torkelson has ideas on how to market Deep Space 3 to the civilized galaxy, including the United Federation.
Memorabilia and trinkets for tourists, even if you have a steady stream of gullible Federationers coming and going, take up a lot of shelf space with a low return. You need something far more profitable with a lower overhead.
And something that we can leave at times if we need to.
Either close it down temporarily, or leave it in the hands of someone who can manage it.
You know, you are both consul for the First Federation. Both of you don't have to leave if you are summoned.
Uncle Vadik, can I talk to you over here for a moment? I know Turgle's my brother and all, but I'm not sure he wouldn't always put the extra strip of latinum in his pocket if I weren't around to keep an eye on him, if you know what I mean.
Hey, Verk, I think you need to check out that ODN outlet over there. I think there's a problem.
What? Where?
Hey, Uncle Vadik, you know that I trust Verk with my life, but something important like latinum? To be honest, I think he's a strict follower of the 242nd rule of acquisition. More is good, but all is better, if you know what I mean.
I don't see anything over here, Turgle.
You must have missed it. I am pretty sure there's a short in it.
Well, at least the two of you understand the fundamentals of business.
It's a unicorn. Someone getting a facelift. Looking into a Jeffries hatch.
Hey, what's that?
It sounds like people shouting from the other side of that wall.
You mean people are enjoying themselves in our space and we're not making any latinum off it? We better go check this out.
Anoni!
A rhinoceros.
A knight, opening his visor.
Graves, why does a knight have to be a he? Come on, can't it be a knight opening her visor?
Is it a knight opening her visor?
No.
Johnson, you're not supposed to be talking.
Okay, got it. So...
That could be a Klingon?
Good, Giles, good. Klingon making funny faces. A Klingon with pointy ridges.
A Klingon wearing a hat.
Ah, a hat. It's a hat, a pointy hat. A helmet.
A funny hat.
Yes, Giles got it. It's a Klingon wearing a funny hat.
I don't think we should play this game with any Klingons nearby, Gliss.
I'm sure the computer takes that into account, Graves.
What's the name of this game again, Gliss?
It's called Charades, Giles. It's an ancient game from Earth. My family plays it every time we get together.
The game doesn't make any sense, Gliss.
Well, it's not supposed to make sense. It's just supposed to be fun.
Hey, what are you people doing in our space? I don't remember requests to rent out this area from us.
Oh, hey, Verk, Turgle. And you are?
It doesn't really matter who I am, does it?
What matters is that you're here in our space.
Actually, Turgle, Construction is still going on, which means you haven't taken possession yet, which means this isn't your space. Yet.
But it will be.
We were just looking for a quiet place, Verk.
But we could move if it bothers you that we're here.
We'd better do it quick before they charge us rent.
Okay, Johnson, grab the pad.
No, I'm not sure that's really necessary.
We don't want to stay here if it bothers you.
Or if you think you're going to charge us.
You're no bother. And there's no need to charge for anything.
What?
My name is Vodek. And I, unfortunately, am Verk and Turgle's uncle.
Oh, glad to meet you.
Hello.
Hi.
Charmed, I'm sure.
I am intrigued by this ancient Federation game. How do you play?
Oh, it's very simple. One person is given a thing or action by the computer and has to get someone to guess what it is through only actions and gestures, not words.
I don't get it.
Quiet. And the person who correctly guesses wins?
Well, they get a point. Then someone else gets a phrase, and it keeps going. Whoever has the most points at the end, I guess, is the winner.
And that's where the latinum comes in?
There's no latinum. Why does there always have to be latinum?
So what's the point of winning if there's no latinum?
You get to give grief to the other players.
I still don't understand.
It's just fun.
Of course, nephews, it's just for fun. But tell me, why here? Aren't there other places on the station, like lounges, for you to have fun?
Well, sure, but they're still on the station.
This space is still on the station.
This is making no sense, Turtle. A game that doesn't involve latinum? And a place on the station that isn't on the station?
Look, when we aren't on shift, it's just nice to get off Chimera.
Because if they need someone for something and they find you, you can't really say that you won't do it, even if it really isn't your job at the moment. You're suddenly back on duty, even if you're off.
It's worse if you work on the station. I can't really go over to the Chimera to avoid being found. I'm always at my work.
And sometimes it's fun to just cut loose a little, laugh loud, get rowdy. That's not always welcome in the lounges.
There are holodecks.
Even with the new ones they're putting in, there aren't that many.
And running a holodeck program can be too structured.
And not always something you can do with a bunch of friends. Or strangers that could become friends.
Vodek here.
It's happening.
I'll be right there. Vodek out. Please, carry on. We won't bother you anymore. Come on, Verk, Turgle.
We won't bother them, Uncle? I still don't understand. Their culture makes no sense. We should charge them. We can't let them think that they can...
You two are hopeless. Do you know that?
What are you saying, Uncle Vodek?
That they have shown us an opportunity. Now I have a call to make. Then I have an idea.
So, this Klingon came out of nowhere and demanded information about you from Gennaro Boke, Mulgar.
He was quite insistent that Gennaro must have known me, based upon our use of the same ship, Mr. Big.
It is a very common ship type. That's why we chose it for you. Anyone noticing that you and Gennaro use the same ship should write it off as a coincidence.
And that, along with me being able to alter the identification beacon I transmit, has been enough up to now. But it may not be enough any longer. It may be time to add those adaptive physical modifications we discussed, so that Gennaro and Mulgar ships can be visually distinguished from each other.
Perhaps, but that would take you out of commission for a while.
With Greetok hunting me, that might be a good thing.
Now is not the time. In fact, I find Greetok's timing suspicious.
Suspicious? How is it suspicious?
That is not something you need to know, Mulgar.
It is that attitude that makes my job more difficult.
Your job is to gather information.
But if I knew what information you needed...
I want to know everything, Mulgar. I'll decide what is important, what I need.
Well, I hope the fact that there is a Klingon hunting me is something you consider important.
When you combine that with the fact that Jeneth has disappeared, it is certainly interesting.
That's easy for you to say. You aren't the one being hunted.
I always assume I'm being hunted, Mulgar. Where are you now?
A couple days out of the Enclave, heading for Deep Space 3. I need to congratulate my Ferengi partners on their new position vis-a-vis the First Federation. Do you have any messages you would like me to pass along?
I need to know how corruptible they are.
They are Ferengi. Their language doesn't even have a word for corruption. At least, it didn't until recently. Although, with those two, I'd be more concerned about their competence.
Find out what you can about their arrangement with the First Federation. Even if we can't use them directly, we might be able to use something we learn from them without their knowledge. The First Federation is a rich prize. As close as it is, it's been just out of reach for too long. I would dearly love to tap into it.
I will find out what I can, of course. But what should I do about Greetok?
I will find out what I can about him. If he is truly dangerous to the core, he will be taken care of.
Dangerous to the core? Mr. Big, what about dangerous to me?
What about it, Mulgar? If you are concerned, the smartest thing for you to do would be to avoid him.
Deck 1725. You are entering a construction zone. Please proceed with caution. Sensors and communication systems may not be operational in this area.
I would hope they aren't.
Is this really necessary, Myth? Deep Space 3 is friendly space.
Is it, Lancer?
I hope you're not suggesting anyone here is responsible for the disappearance of your agent in the area, Harrison, while he was at the Enclave.
No one here should have known that Harrison was an agent of Section 31, Lancer, much less where he was. But he's still missing.
Are you getting squeamish, Myth? Harrison's dead. I think that's pretty clear.
What isn't clear, Lancer, is why he's dead. His portfolio wasn't espionage or infiltration. It was observation and basic intelligence gathering. To observe without being seen and report back.
Plenty of people don't like to be seen or reported on. Just because he wasn't combat rated doesn't mean he wasn't in danger.
Things didn't go well at the Enclave?
Farmer?
How much did you hear?
Harrison's dead, and no one seems to know why or how.
We never said...
You said he was dead. There being no additional information may be speculation on my part, but it seemed like a good guess. Did you recover a body?
No, too much time had passed. The locals supposedly disposed of it.
But they did have it at one time.
He was killed in a fight. I'd guess that he was stabbed from what we observed at the scene.
What do the reports say?
Reports were unavailable, according to the locals.
I have a few contacts. I'll see what I can get.
It looks like I'm going to have to spend some more time in the area.
I'll arrange quarters.
Not necessary. I'll stay on my ship. It's more secure.
Apparently, Farmer, we are all suspects. Because Myth is functioning under heightened security protocols.
In that case, I'll arrange for long-term docking on the exterior of the station. What will your cover story be?
I don't want there to be a cover story, Lancer. I don't want there to be any record or acknowledgement of me at all. I'll need to be able to come and go freely, without interference from your flight control, or escorts.
Look, keeping you below the sensors will be difficult, Myth.
But not impossible.
Captain Buchanan is a micromanager. He has his eye on everything that happens on this station. And Commander Torkelson goes by the book. Nothing's going to fall through the cracks. They'll notice if I try to hide something, even with my skill.
Conscientious bureaucrats can be the bane of the covert operation.
It would be much easier if we could alert Buchanan and Torkelson that you are here. even if we don't tell them exactly why.
If this job were easy, Farmer, we wouldn't need to do it. Just make it happen.
Technically, Myth, I don't take orders from you anymore.
Technically, Farmer, you might be taking orders from me in the future. You haven't been written off like some people. But if you ever do want to come back in from the cold, you need to prove yourself. Again.
I'll see what I can do.
Well, Lancer, thank you, I guess, for the one-strip tour of the Enclave. But I won't need your assistance from here on out. I suggest you forget everything that has occurred in the last week.
What is it with her?
What do you mean?
If you didn't vouch for her, Farmer, I'd think Myth was so green she photosynthesized.
Well, she may have been behind a desk a bit too much the last couple of years, Lancer, but she knows what she's doing.
Do you know this from experience? Or am I getting third-hand assurances?
We worked a couple of operations together, and she supervised some others.
And? Do you trust her?
I owe Lorok 1 bar and 2 strips of latinum.
The bookie. You may just be as dumb as you look if you gambled your way into that much debt with him. But why does that mean I shouldn't kill you?
Because if I'm dead, I can't pay him back, Captain Britara, and then he'll go after my family for the latinum. They can't afford it, and they don't deserve what he'll do to them.
Why are you bothering me already? You've barely had time to get aboard. This better be good news.
No, it is bad news.
Then it's a good thing I have someone up here to take my frustrations out on Gritok.
Captain Britara, all systems are operational.
All systems, Melion?
Many of them are in the yellow, Captain.
Including impulse engines.
And warp engines.
And that's a bad thing?
Yes, it is a bad thing.
How is this a bad thing?
Because, Captain, it is not what we were expecting. It is much better than what we were expecting.
It's about time my luck took a turn for the better, Gritok.
This is not luck, Captain, and it is not good. Repairs are even ahead of where you were told they were.
This is still sounding good to me.
Our intelligence was wrong, Captain, and wrong to our advantage. Any warrior will tell you that bad intelligence is never to your advantage. Until we understand why your ship is ready to fly. When we were told it would not be, it must be considered a disadvantage.
But the solar winds can fly.
Yes, but you're missing the point.
No, Gritok, you're missing the point. I don't care. I just want my ship back. Melion, is everyone on board?
Yes, Captain.
I'm opening the bay doors. Prepare the solar winds for emergency departure. Beam me over when they're open. I have some loose ends to take care of over here.
Wait, Captain Britara, we can make a deal.
A deal, Lob?
Yes, a deal.
And what could you two pathetic wretches have that I could possibly want?
Our silence.
Yeah, we won't say anything.
Nothing. When Vass comes in tomorrow, we'll just be gone.
We'll disappear.
We'll never tell a soul what happened.
You don't understand, do you? I have a reputation to uphold.
We could come with you.
I wouldn't have the two of you on my crew for all the latinum at the Exchequer.
But there has to be something.
Oh, there is. When Vask finds you tomorrow, I want him to know it was me. You tell him that he miscalculated. You tell him that he wasn't scared enough of me.
What? You want us to tell him it was you?
We can do that.
You tell him that. If he somehow manages to keep his business going, and if I'm ever desperate enough to come back to this wretched pit of incompetence, he had better do everything I need him to do.
What just happened, Blue?
We just got very, very lucky, Lob.
Boss, are you sure that Chief Knox shouldn't be here?
You received the same message I did, Kyle. Meet with Captain Buchanan and Commander Torkelson about the future ship complement for Deep Space 3. I thought it sounded somewhat evasive then, and it still does.
I'm with you there. It also sounds like something Chief Knox should be included in.
But he isn't, pursuant to the Captain's specific instructions.
Ready to go in, boss?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Ah, Commander Exler and Lieutenant Kyle.
Captain Buchanan, Commander Torkelson.
Please, have a seat.
Yes, sir.
You're probably wondering why I summoned you on such short notice.
It did cross our minds.
And why I specifically directed that Chief Knox not be in attendance.
That had crossed our minds as well.
Are we waiting for the Remington's officers, Captain?
This meeting does not impact the Remington, Commander.
So we are only talking about the future of Chimera, then?
Well, we know that the Chimera is an old ship, Commander Exler.
One of only a handful of Oprith vessels still in service.
Precisely.
I see. I think we all know where this is heading, and we all know the reasons. Could we cut to the chase?
Good idea, Commander. No reason to prolong the inevitable. As you have deduced, Starfleet has notified us that they have begun the process of decommissioning the Chimera. The full timeline hasn't been set yet, but it will be sooner rather than later. I suspect it shall be finalized within the next 6 to 12 months.
It was bound to happen, eventually.
I understand that, but is there any chance they will reconsider?
Unfortunately, no, Commander. I understand that you, have formed an attachment to your ship. I'm not sure I understand why people form attachments to their ships, but they do. Navies have had to deal with this problem since time immemorial. I am sure that every argument that could be made to forestall a decommissioning has been made, considered, and rejected on a regular basis.
Yes, I suppose it has.
Frankly, I don't see the point in expending any further effort in trying to stave off Starfleet's decision.
However,
should you wish to prepare an argument to try to save the Chimera, I encourage you to do so, and will forward it to Fleet Command with my support.
I suspect your most passionate proponent for keeping Chimera flying would be Chief Knox, Commander.
Unfortunately, his attitude could also be the greatest counter-argument against us.
Probably.
I suspect you would need to edit his comments considerably.
Still,
Commander, we are behind the 8 ball. As much as I don't want to clam up and take Command's decision lying down, any effort we make to save Chimera will be a long shot at best.
I appreciate your pragmatism, Commander.
So, I'm sure there is something we need to be doing in the meantime.
Starfleet sent us a list of ships that they are considering reassigning to Deep Space 3. They are asking for our input regarding which we think would be the most appropriate to our needs.
Our needs?
Our needs, Mr. Kyle. No more and no less. That is, assuming we even need a replacement.
Captain, according to regulations, a fully functional facility like ours should have a minimum of 3 starships permanently assigned to...
But we are not fully functional, Commander.
But we are nearly so, Captain.
Perhaps this is Starfleet's way of bringing DS-3 up to speed. After all, the Remington was recently assigned here.
Perhaps.
And while I appreciate all of your opinions, it is Starfleet's rulings that will guide this station, and for the time being we are only considering a replacement for the Chimera.
Yes, sir.
Sir, if I may ask...
Yes, Lieutenant?
What about Chimera's crew?
That will depend, at least to some extent, on the ship replacement that is sent out here. Many of these ships are coming off time in dry dock, and thus have only skeleton crews at the moment. We can assume that any one of them will need at least a crew as large as the current complement of the Chimera. I'm assured that every effort will be made to accommodate the wishes of the Chimera's current crew, whether that means reassignment to the new ship in a comparable capacity if an opening is available, or transfer elsewhere in the fleet.
We appreciate that, Captain. It may soften the blow of losing Chimera a bit.
But it also brings up one very touchy problem.
Chief Knox.
Precisely.
His absence does give us the opportunity to discuss how to handle
him.
I'm sure the Chief would not appreciate the idea of being handled.
Nevertheless, it is an issue we must address. My experience with the man is that he can be insubordinate, especially when it comes to his ship.
The Chief is certainly aware that something like this is possible, even probable.
Especially after that whole incident with Starfleet wanting to dissect Chimera to learn of its secrets.
I must admit, my preference would be for him to choose his own retirement along with that of the Chimera.
Honestly, Captain, the Chief won't care what happens to him. He'll be more concerned about what happens to Chimera.
The Chimera's fate has been written, Lieutenant. The Chief must accept that.
I'm not sure he's gonna see it that way, Captain.
He should be concerned about the things he can control.
Chief Knox's relationship with Chimera is complicated.
That's putting it mildly.
I'm sure he knows that Chimera is Starfleet's ship, but we're aware he feels she's his, I don't know, friend? Pet? As Commander Exler says, it's complicated.
We can't assume that he's going to accept that Starfleet is going to take her away in Deep Sixer.
That's what I feared. If I understand your meaning, Commander. And it is, frankly, unsettling. The fact that we are even having this conversation about a crew member who is in a position of responsibility and is unpredictable enough that we must even have this conversation is troubling.
Well, sir, the root of the problem
The roots of the problem, Commander, go deep and touch a great many areas. I'm quite aware of that, and I am not interested in affixing blame. For now, I need to know how we are going to proceed.
So, if we do get a new ship...
When we get a new ship...
When we get a new ship... Assuming Chief Knox does not retire, can we assure him that he can customize it like he's done with Chimera?
Certainly not. While Chief Knox has done an impressive job keeping the Chimera in service, Deep Space 3 is now in a position, for better or worse, where that type of engineering is no longer required and cannot be allowed.
The transition to a new ship would be an excellent opportunity to reestablish the proper protocols for the chain of command as well.
He's not gonna like that.
It doesn't matter if he does or doesn't, Lieutenant.
A replacement vessel may very well come with its own Chief of Engineering, who may very well be an officer, not a Master Chief. Knox may no longer find himself at the top of the ladder.
He's not going to like that either.
While those of us gathered here may be concerned for our colleague and friend, Starfleet is not. Their concerns are larger than one man's destiny. If we cannot predict Chief Knox's actions, we must presume they will be extreme and prepare for the worst.
Perhaps we should start with how we'll break the news to him.
That is my responsibility.
Let me do it, Captain.
I appreciate your offer to step up, Commander. But as the highest authority on this station, this odious task falls to me. It truly is my responsibility.
I'm not trying to take some chin music for the team, Captain. But the Chief and I seem to have an understanding between us.
You have become friends.
I'm not sure I'd go that far, Captain. But something like that.
There is a place for friends in a decision like this, Commander. Delivering the bad news is not that place. This is my responsibility. He needs to hear it from me. If I were in his shoes, I would expect nothing more and nothing less. Afterward, if the Chief needs a friend, or something like one, that will fall to you.
Yes, sir. I would suggest, however, that perhaps Dr. Winston could assist you with the discussion with the Chief.
I assure you that I am quite capable of handling the Chief. But I shall consider your recommendation. Dismissed.
Status report. Just give me the highlights.
Captain Bratara. Life support, inertial dampeners, and impulse engines are functioning in the yellow. Phasers and warp drive are in the red. They should function, but I advise against pushing them. We have no torpedoes aboard. The holodecks and the sickbay are in the black.
No one's going to have time to relax on the holodeck until the ship is running smoothly. And I guess no one should get hurt until then either.
There are no indications of pursuit, Captain, or even a call for help.
You have a way of making good news sound ominous, Gritok.
And you should stop squirming in your captain's chair, Captain.
I am not squirming, Gritok. I am luxuriating. Vaskri did the patting. It feels wonderful.
A warrior does not let pleasures distract them from the dangers around them. It is only a matter of hours before the corpses of the 2 night shift watchmen are discovered.
Oh, there are no bodies.
No weapon totally destroys a body, unless you took the time to clean up the ash from a disintegration.
There are no bodies, because I did not kill them, Gritok.
You should not have left witnesses!
I have a reputation to maintain. Apparently, I have a reputation to rebuild. Although I suppose I could have killed one of them, the other could still report what happened.
We were using names over the comm system. They know I was there!
It served my purpose for them to know I was there. I suppose it never occurred to me to worry about them knowing about you. Oh well. Nothing we can do about it now.
You will turn around and return to Vask's repair yard. You will destroy the yard to ensure the watchmen are dead, and any system recording of our conversation is destroyed.
No, I will not.
Captain, we're being directly hailed by an unknown party.
Ignore the hail.
Captain Bratara, we had an agreement. I provided you with men and resources to retrieve your ship. In return...
As it turns out, I hardly needed you, your men, or your resources, Gritok.
Do not interrupt me when I am speaking, Captain!
Captain.
Ignore it, Melion. As for you, Gritok, this is my ship. I will do as I please on my ship.
Actually, Captain Bratara, the Solar Winds is now my ship.
Vodek! You small-lobed Ferengi. Melion, I told you to ignore the hail. In transmission.
I'm trying, Captain. The panel is not responding.
She can't cut me off, Captain. I won't let her.
He's right, Captain. Somehow he has control of the communication system. I can't break the signal.
Well, I can.
Shooting out your own communications panel is a bold move, Captain. I commend you for it.
When I want your approval, Gritok, I can...
You can't get away from me that easily, Bratara. In fact, you can't get away from me at all. Now, have a seat. We have some business to discuss.
How are you doing this?
Can't you guess? Haven't you wondered why it was so easy for you to free the Solar Winds?
No.
Yes!
I don't know who you are, Klingon. Yet. But I will. Soon enough.
The Klingon is not important. What did you do to my ship?
Why, Captain Bratara, it should be obvious. I fixed it.
You fixed it?
Well, Putris Vas fixed it. Really not the first person I would have gone to for a major rebuild, but I guess you had your reasons.
I'm not interested in your opinions, Vodek.
But I did pay for the Solar Winds to be repaired, which makes it in many ways my ship.
I'd destroy it before I turned it over to you.
I know you would, Bratara. You know, I considered doing the same thing you did, sneaking the Solar Winds out of the shipyard. Of course, I would have reimbursed Vask for all the repairs and any damage I caused once I had the ship. I'm just that kind of Ferengi, after all. And while I'm sure that you would do the same, don't bother. Vask has already been paid. And I have a repayment plan between you and I already in mind.
Oh, I know how I'm going to pay you back, Vodek.
But then I thought about what I'd do with the Solar Winds once I had it. Frankly, I don't have a crew to man it. And even if I had this ship, you'd still be out there, somewhere, trying to get it back. So I decided to let you remain as the captain.
You are letting me stay as captain?
This way, I'll know where you are, all the time. And I'll know what you're up to, all the time. Because I will be the one telling you where to go and what to do, and you will go and do as you were told.
I haven't taken orders since I took possession of the Solar Winds from the smoldering corpse of its previous owner.
Well, you're taking them now. From me.
I'll tear your lobes off with my bare hands.
Really, Britara, I know you're upset, but this arrangement will be profitable for the both of us.
I'll pull out your teeth to make a dagger to cut out your heart.
I've invested many bricks of latinum in the Solar Winds. It's amazing how much work you can get done in a short period of time if you're willing to pay for it. But once I've gotten my investment back, with a modest but suitable return, of course, I think you'll find I cut my daemon in on a generous return on profits.
Call me a daemon again, Vodek, and I'll...
You've already removed my lobes and eviscerated me with my own teeth, Britara. What else is there to do?
You'll
proceed to the coordinates I am programming into your navigation system.
Melion, stop him.
He's overriding my station, Captain.
Because you insisted on retrieving your Solar Winds before Vask could finish, I presume that means you want to complete the repairs yourself. Go to that location that I have provided, and you will find the parts necessary to help you do just that.
I don't need your help. I don't want your help.
You're now my employee, Britara. For what I have in mind, I can't have you flying our ship at anything less than 100% capability.
My ship. My ship.
And in case you are thinking you can locate and remove all the control modules and subroutines I had installed in the Solar Winds, I assure you that you cannot. They are integral to the ship now. Even if you could locate and isolate 5 of them, or 10 of them, or 20 of them, I will see it. I now see everything you do, Britara. You will find me to be a generous patron, but cross me and you won't find anything ever again. We'll talk again soon. Vodek out.
It is good that Vask replaced the cushions in your chair, Captain. You collapse into it like a haunch of raw meat.
Get off my ship.
You and I have not finished our discussion about how you are to repay my service.
You did nothing.
We had an agreement. I honored my part. I expect you to honor yours. Though Vodek's maneuverings do make that more difficult, I agree.
Get off my ship.
You threaten a Klingon, Captain. We do not back down from a fight.
Get off my ship.
Kreetok, now is not the time.
You speak wisely, Melion. The immediate prize we sought, this ship, seems lost. Your captain wallows in anger and despair, so trying to plan our way forward is pointless at this time. I will depart. For now, my cruise ship is near. Joel!
Captain?
Melion, if you ever again undermine my authority like you did with Kreetok just now, I'll practice everything I plan on doing to Vodek once I have him at my mercy on you first.
Generous patron, but cross me and you won't find anything ever again. We'll talk again soon. Vodek out.
That went exactly as we expected, Vodek.
Yes, it did, Yav. And I would bet 5 bars of latinum that Britara's crew is feeling their captain's wrath right about now.
Do you really think she will submit to your control of her ship?
She really doesn't have much choice, and she knows it. She just needs a little time to accept it.
So, what's next?
We wait. We let Bertara finish the repairs to the solar winds. Then, we let her make the next move. She'll stew over what I said. She'll have what little crew she has search for everything we planted.
Or didn't plant.
Or didn't plant. And it will drive her mad. But in the end, she loves her ship more than she does her independence. She'll come around.
But will she do it soon enough for our needs?
We can always pressure her later to make her decision. For now, though, we have our own work to do getting everything ready to start smuggling the Tranya out of the First Federation, and then ship it to our distributors.
Shouldn't we let our buyers know that we'll have Tranya from the First Federation soon?
No specifics yet. I'm not willing to risk looking like a fool should something happen before we have at least a few shipments under our belts. Alert our people to start getting ready, but only give them the information that they need, and nothing more.
But won't rumors start?
Precisely, and that's exactly what I want. Let our customers, and our competitors, get wind of our operations rumblings, and then let them guess at what we're doing.
But what if they spread rumors that aren't true?
Then it will prove that they are indeed paying attention to what we are doing, which can be valuable in and of itself. Their discussions will keep us at the forefront, rather than languishing in distant memories.
And if they talk about us having Tranya?
So much the better. If their wild speculations do land on Tranya, that will only fuel the fires of desire for our product. By the time we start distributing it, they will be willing to pay an exorbitant sum for even the first smallest taste.
And increasing our profits.
Increasing my profits, Yav. My profits.
Oh.
But don't worry. Those who are loyal to me will be handsomely rewarded.
Thank you, Vadik.
Now, off with you. Set our plan in motion. I have to go talk to my nephews. It's time they got to work on the cover for this operation and setting up our first distribution point here on DS3.
You've been listening to Star Trek Outpost, Episode 72, Wicked Harvest. Written, produced, directed, and audio engineered by Daniel McIntosh and Tony Raymond. In order of appearance, the cast for this episode featured the voice talents of James Zian as Lub, Patrick Mann as Blue, MJ Cockburn as Captain Bertara, Jim Wilhelm as Greetok, Chris Cree as Melian, Tony Raymond as Vadik, Ben Cromie as Verk, Doug Cromie as Turgle, Brittany Ebert as Engineer Neela Gliss, Nick Armstrong as MedTech Giles, Michael Liebman as Engineer Jack Graves, Tanya Milojevic as MedTech Johnson, Mark Zarakor as Mr. Big, Tim Cree as Mulger, Micah Raymond as the Computer, Vincent Brownlee as Yaman Lancer, Marilyn Sparks as Myth, Greg Littlefield as Lieutenant Nathaniel Farmer, Damon Fries as Lieutenant Owen Kyle, Katie Gomez as Lieutenant Commander Renova Exler, Edward Winterrose as Captain Montaigne Buchanan, Jonathan Jackson as Lieutenant Commander Greg Torkelson, and Eddie Boley as Yav. Original music provided courtesy of Matthew McLaren from S&M Productions, Kevin McLeod from Incompetech.com, and Jared Cowing. This is Paul Lavelle. Thanks for listening. Star Trek Outpost, created by Daniel McIntosh and Tony Raymond. Based on Star Trek, created by Gene Roddenberry. No rights infringement intended. Tune in next time for Episode 73, Dark Tidings. For news and updates, please visit us on the web at StarTrekOutpost.com, GiantGnome.com, or on Facebook at Facebook.com/Star Trek Outpost. Star Trek and all related marks, logos, and characters are owned by CBS Studios Incorporated. Giant Gnome Productions, the website, the promotion thereof, and or any exhibition of material created by Giant Gnome Productions are not endorsed, sponsored by, or affiliated with CBS Paramount Pictures or the Star Trek franchise.
You've been listening to a presentation of Giant Gnome Productions. Visit us on the web at giantgnome.com for more great audio theater.